told you your HOA could raise your fees without warning and then sue you for not paying? Sounds crazy, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to this homeowner, and she's putting them on blast. For those of you who don't know, my name is Kay, giving you the keys to homeownership. And in today's video, I'm reacting to a TikTok about an HOA nightmare. I'm here to tell you what went wrong, what you need to know, and how to protect yourself from being in the same situation. Let's get into it.
Listen to me. If you plan on ever buying a home, do not, I repeat, do not ever get a home with an HOA. I am currently getting sued by my HOA. If you don't know what an HOA is, it's a homeowners association. So when you buy a home, like in the community or whatever, they're the people who take care of things within the neighborhood. If there's amenity, trash sometimes, lawn services, and that type of thing. I first purchased my...
So yeah, she's right. An HOA, which is short for a homeowners association, is the thing that makes sure that the neighborhood is running smoothly. Their main goal is to keep everything looking nice and to maintain the property values of the community. The way that they do that is by collecting fees and abiding by the laws that are written in the governing HOA documents of that specific community or HOA that you're in.
My home like 5 years ago now, when I first got my home, my HOA started at $200, which was, that's about average. It made sense. My community is very it's real basic, okay? There's no gym, there's no security, there's no gate. They do have a pool, but it's like a community pool. It's not one of those cute, nice pools. It's very I don't even want to swim in it. I have not swam in the pool since I've been there. It's rough, okay? Since then, my HOA rate has gone up to $450 per month. I think it has changed since the $200 per month. It's just gone up. Apparently, they're just allowed to do that with no rhyme or reason. Inflation, aliens, they can say whatever they want, but the price can just go up and you really, have no say. Earlier this year, my HOA decided that they need to waterproof the crawl space under the units. This cost us homeowners an additional $500 per month for 7 months.
So, as she stated, the HOA raised her fees, which they are allowed to do, but there are restrictions on how and when they can do that, which is why it is so crucial for you to read your HOA documents before buying a home that is located in an HOA. And if you're someone who is currently living in an HOA and you didn't do this, it's not too late. I would still advise you to read those governing documents so you know what's going on in your community. It's always good to know what you as the homeowner have rights to and what the HOA is allowed to do, because they're not always right in every situation, and there are times where the homeowner isn't always right. So those laws keep a good balance between what can and can't be done.
So the $450 plus $500 plus my mortgage, that's 2 mortgages. So all of a sudden my HOA is now $950 per month. I have all my stuff on auto pay because I ain't trying to remember where my money gotta go. I'm forgetting. So when the rate changed, my auto pay just stayed, what I had it set at. So I missed the first couple payments. Then I peeped what was going on, and I reached out to my HOA yo, I ain't got $950 per month just for my HOA. I ain't got it. I don't have it, and that's crazy. So what did they decide to do? They decided to hire lawyers to basically force me to give them money I don't have. On top of the $950, which I think over the course of 7 months had totaled up to $3,500 total. So now on top of that, they're now also charging me for their lawyer fees, for the lawyers they hired to sue me. Make it make sense. How? Where? In what world does that make sense? Now I owe my HOA $10,000, and I'm just
So, as she said, where does that make sense, right? I guess in the world of HOAs, that does make sense, because they do have the power to enforce payments, and if you refuse to pay or you can't pay at the time, they can tack on late fees, interest, they can sue you, And they can even start the foreclosure proceedings on your property, just depending on what HOA you're in. It's all in the fine print. Another thing to remember, something that I always tell my clients is, when you decide to buy in an HOA, you gotta be involved. You at least have to know what's going on. Most HOAs have a schedule for regular meetings or annual meetings that may happen, which will keep you informed about what's going on in the community and about what items that may be needing to be fixed coming up, which might require a little extra money from the homeowners to cover those fees. In this instance, any damage to that crawl space, say a flood comes through and all the crawl spaces of that community are damaged, that now has decreased the property value, which is the main goal that the HOA is trying to prevent. So even if you don't attend in person, one, you should still know what's going on. And as a homeowner, you have voting rights for things that are happening within your community. So even if you're not attending the meetings, you still can vote by proxy, which just means you can vote on subjects not being in attendance to the regular meetings that happen with your HOA.
Hello? I'm trying to negotiate with these people like, yo, I don't have that. Can we just settle for like the actual amount of like the crawl space or whatever? Like I'll figure out that money and just get, they're like, no, you need to pay our lawyer fees too. Okay, well, I ain't got it. Like, I literally don't have it. What you want me to do? I live in Atlanta, so I don't know if it's different in other states, but here, baby, in Atlanta, they got free reign. They could just out of nowhere raise your HOA to $950 per month. That's literally another mortgage. Why would you do that? What is the reason? If any of y'all been through something like this or have some advice, maybe know something that I don't know, hey, help me out, okay? Help me out, because they about to lock me up. I don't know what happens when you get sued and you just don't have the money. I don't know what happens. I don't know if I go to jail. I don't know. If anybody else is going through this, has gone through this, let me know. And for everybody else who has not gone through this, if you can avoid it, don't get a house with an HOA, okay? Listen to me.
So, as she said, she lives in Atlanta, which is in Georgia. The rules for HOAs are pretty universal. They are different depending on what community you're buying in, but her situation does not just happen in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm in Texas, and these things happen in Texas all the time. Here's what you need to know as someone looking to buy in an HOA, or like I said, if you're currently living in an HOA. Your HOA documents are like the blueprint of your community. So you have the Articles of Incorporation, which is just, that's a fancy document for saying that the HOA has been legally established, which gives them the ability to do the things that they want or need to do within the community. Then you have your bylaws, which is how the HOA is run. That deals with who's in charge, voting rights, meeting rules, and just overall board rules as to how that's going to be run in the HOA. Then you have your CC&Rs, which is your covenants, conditions, and restrictions. Now, in my opinion, this is the most important document. Not saying that you don't need to read the other ones, because you do, but the CC&Rs is the rule book. This tells you what you can and can't do with your home, any architectural changes that can or can't be made, how you need to upkeep your property, any pet rules, any rules that deal with parking and things like that. Any additions you want to add to the house, if you want to paint the outside of your house, all of what you can and can't do will lie in the CC&Rs. And that document is so important because say you want to paint the exterior of your house blue. If you don't get that approved with your HOA, they have the ability to come back and be like, you need to take that down and you have to pay for somebody to paint to an acceptable color. Yes, they can do that. I know that sounds crazy, but they have the ability to do that. So it's good to know that, especially if you're looking to, in the future, or even now, renovate your property and make some changes. The last thing you need to know deals with assessments and liens. Your HOA fees are non-negotiable. When your mortgage payment is calculated, your HOA fees, the annual fee is a part of that amount. So they're non-negotiable. They must be paid. And if they're unpaid, as in the instance of this young lady, the HOA can take legal action and sue you, or even go a step further and start working on the process for foreclosure if you missed that many payments. Yes, The HOA is very powerful, and I've talked a lot about the things that they can and can't do, but you as a homeowner are not helpless. You have rights yourself. So this is what you as a homeowner should know. First of all, read the HOA documents before you buy the house. You gotta know the rules that you're agreeing to, because the rules in there may not agree with your lifestyle. What if you're somebody who has an RV because your family likes to travel, and then you read in the HOA documents that you're not allowed to keep your RV in your driveway? Now you have to spend extra money renting a space to hold your RV. So just the little things that you don't even think about, or that you may not think may bother you, may end up bothering you. Also, understand how your assessments work, which just means how much money you're gonna have to pay. Okay, so what do your fees cover? As she stated, I believe she said her original monthly fee was $200, which meant she was paying $2,400 a year, and then it shot up. So that $200 was her annual HOA payment, but they have the right to add in extra assessments and fees depending on what's going on. If there's a road in the community that needs to be fixed, if she said they didn't have a gym, but if her community had a gym, or the pool needs some maintenance work, that cost is going to fall back on the homeowners to pay. And the way that the HOA gets that money is by adding on special assessments. So when you're looking at your HOA, examine, have they done any surprise special assessments before? Because more than likely they'll do some more in the future. Also, stay involved, attend meetings, know your rights, and keep up with HOA changes. Like I said before, even if you're not going to go to the meetings, get familiar with some people who are on the board. Talk to them. Know about what's going on with your community, because at the end of the day, it's going to affect you. And most times you end up feeling those changes and your money, because those things have to be paid for. Last but not least, be proactive. If you don't agree with the rule, get involved in the process. In those documents I mentioned before, there should be a section for homeowners and amending laws and rules that are within the HOA. And you never know, you may get some people to rally behind you and actually end up changing your community for the better. So I'm done. Now I'd like to hear, what do you think? Are HOAs a necessary evil? Or are you someone who's going to avoid them at all costs? Drop a comment below to tell me about any of your personal HOA experiences. I'll see you in the next one.